Hello, everyone. My name is Lia Grainger, and this is Curtain Call presented by FabCollab. It's a weekly interview series with powerful women in the arts around the world. And we are coming at you today with a very incredible and powerful artist that we're very excited to have joining us. She'll also be taking part in FabCollab's upcoming concert festival, Women in Song Summer Thunder, which is taking place on July 11th and will be live streamed from FabCollab and a wide range of other places. She's an incredible singer, drummer, musician. She's an educator. She's an activist. She's a teacher. She's so many different things. And we're so grateful to have her here with us today. I'm just going to invite her to join us. And yeah, we're so excited to be having her not only speaking to us and sharing all the things. Hello. I see Aqua's beautiful plant. What is she doing? Hello, Aqua? There you are. You're looking amazing. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I really liked that arrival into the frame. That was great.
Thanks. You know what? I thought, oh, she's going to talk about me for a while. And I went to get my migu and my feather. I couldn't
You're like,
find
I'll make an
one.
entrance.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Didn't sleep very much, but the beauty of working from home is that you can take afternoon naps when you need to. So that's kind of nice.
That has been one of the benefits of the last year and a half. Where are you? Where are we speaking to you from? Where are you right now?
So I'm on the traditional territories of the First Nations of Shkoogog Island. So I'm very grateful to be living on the land again. Yeah, so I am.
Beautiful. So maybe you could just start by telling us a little bit about like your path as an artist, how you came into discovering that this was sort of like who you were going to be, and that this was sort of the role in life you identified with, that you were going to be an artist and a performer and a creator. How did that sort of develop?
Sure. And I'm just going to introduce myself in my ancestral language.
Oh, sorry.
As well. But then, yeah.
Please do.
Ani, Wiju. Hello, everyone. Bindigay. Welcome. Nibii Waawaaskone, Nadijnakas, Mijikin and Dodom, North Bin and Dunjiba, Shkoogog and Da, and Shnabin and Dao. Bindigay Mishomanasag, Bindigay no Kumasag, Bindigay Gichimanado, Nikizagin, Ikanagana. So my spirit name is Waterflower. I am Odam Shkike, heart medicine and grief medicine. I'm from the Turtle clan. I'm a peacekeeper. And I am mixed blood, mixed ancestry. I'm wearing my Métis sash. I don't know if you guys can see it. I like to honor it because I was ashamed of my European ancestry for so long. And I'm just so grateful to finally be able to honor that and be proud of that and be connected to my mixed ancestry. I am an Anishinaabe, proudly, a person of this earth, an Anishinaabe Kwe, life giver. I am Ojibwe, I am Irish, and I am French. I identify as Métis and Anishinaabe. I am two-spirit, I am queer. I am very grateful to be here, just to be able to share a bit about myself and my story. Sometimes when we get on stage as artists, we don't get that opportunity maybe to share the more personal side of how our journey led us to that point. Something I've seen in our communities of artists is oftentimes we look at someone on stage or someone in the spotlight and we think that it's been easy for them. We think that perhaps they're worthy and maybe we're not, because we're not in that spotlight in that moment. But the thing is, we've all really, anything you see someone do and they do it well, it never started that way. It always started with challenges, you know? So as a very young being, I always knew I was two-spirit. I always knew. I identified as this genderless, you know, free-spirited being. And I was fortunate that my explorative side was very nurtured in my mom, who raised me alone with a disability and on assistance. She raised me and my older brother. And my brother and I were very close growing up. And we loved music. We loved singing, we loved dancing, we loved playing. And I remember that when I would sing, it was as if whatever you thought you knew about me, whatever judgment you would have based on your life experience when you saw me, it would all go away when I sang. And what I mean by that is that I feel that for me, when I sing, it is the truest expression of my spirit. And then people feel that, and we connect on a very deep level. I always wanted to be an artist because I was always encouraged to create based on the teaching that when we create, we are closer to Creator. I, although have made it to such an amazing point in my life, my career, I was not raised being put in a bunch of plays, taking voice lessons, taking music lessons, taking dance lessons. Oh my gosh. I remember being jealous of all the kids at school who got to do these things because we didn't have the money. But what I've learned is creation has nothing to do with money and being trained even. Because the parts of me that I feel are the most powerful, the most gifted, is not something I was taught. It's something that I believed inside myself and I allowed to come out.
It's coming from within. It's not something that was given to you, it's something that you already had.
Pardon?
It's not something that was given to you, it's something that you already had.
Yes.
That was
I
already
do.
within you. That's beautiful. Well then, speaking, I know that in your music, a lot of your life experiences come out in those songs, in the lyrics, in the music itself, but also, in the words that you're telling a story. Because as we've just heard, you are a very beautiful storyteller. So maybe, do you think you could just maybe take us through a song, like what your songwriting process is like, where that comes from, like what sort of place you are in your life generally when you're creating a new song or a new work?
Yeah. So it's funny because we were chatting yesterday and we were talking about almost every song had a story. And so it's sort of funny. It's like, well, which one? Now, the song I want to share a story about is a song that is not recorded yet. And it is a song that is not complete yet. I'm working on it. And it's an important song. It's called Come On Home. This song came to me in the water. My songs come to me often when I'm in water. I'm very connected to the water, and I just heard this song, and I just start recording it freestyle. And it's about 7 or 8 minutes, because I'm just letting it happen. And when I was done, I hit play, and I listened to it. And I wept, because what I was hearing was what I feel the grandmothers wanted me to know. The song came to me after dedicating 4.5 years of my life to the only Indigenous martial arts in Toronto, where I was almost killed by 10 people that the teacher allowed to jump me and assault me without my consent. I blacked out and I didn't know. This all became revealed during the pandemic because I couldn't train, and I was seeing healers, and my body was so traumatized. We didn't know why. We thought it was past life, which it is. We have intergenerational trauma as Indigenous people. It's really hard for non-Indigenous people to understand when they're hearing something on the news. We're feeling it in our bones, in our blood, in our intestines, in our hearts. It's not outside of us. It's a part of us. It's unfortunate. And this song came to me, and I've been listening to it almost every day because I need to know that it's not my fault. I need to know that it's okay that I got lost. And I was so far from home. And when I listened to this song, I realized this is not just a song for me. This is a song for my people. This is a song for the children who didn't make it because of our history, because of colonization, because of the residential school system. And then there are all the beautiful, amazing beings who did.
Mm-hmm.
And they walk with trauma. And it's passed down in the blood. And in my lifetime, I want to heal as much of that as I can so that it doesn't get passed on to my children. So my music, like Come On Home, is so close to my heart and so personal and so intimate. I don't keep a diary. All you have to do is listen to my songs and you will hear the innermost thoughts and feelings of my soul.
That is so powerful. Because yeah, the thing about music and art is like people come at it from different places. And, some people are just trying to write something that sounds beautiful or that is just like enjoyable to listen to. And it really feels like with you, it's so profound and like it's like a gift to yourself, but then also a gift to other people in your community that need it. It's so beautiful. Yeah. Um, I also know about an amazing project that you've been involved with, Room 217 and the album Good Medicine, which I just thought was such a beautiful idea. And I'm so curious about how it all played out and how it developed. Could you just tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I want you to envision like a beautiful dream catcher or spider web.
Mhm.
Because how I got led to that was through years ago. I was gifted my first Migze Migwan, my first eagle feather. I was then asked by a community member who had attended my drum circles. They had a good friend who had lost their daughter and granddaughter in a car accident suddenly and needed a grieving ceremony. And I was asked by this person if I would do that. So I hosted them in my home and we did a ceremony. I had never done this. And I didn't know at the time, part of my medicine, part of my name is grief medicine. And then, of course, that makes sense now. This woman that came to my drum circle and brought this other grandmother and grandfather to my home is an amazing person named Justin who worked on the album. It's his mother-in-law. So when it came time for them to make this album, and he was just talking about the projects, his mother-in-law mentioned my name. I hadn't seen her in at least 5 years, if not 7. And I got asked, and as soon as I found out, I would be singing for my people who are making the journey to the spirit world. That was it. I was on board. We created together in person in the most beautiful, majestic way. We opened it with a traditional ceremony that my mom led. We spent 2 days together in the studio, but we spent days prior to that meeting, consulting with other Indigenous people. And honestly, I never listen to my music, even though I know I just said I'm listening to that one song nonstop. But prior to all this post-traumatic stress disorder and all that, I wouldn't listen to my music. And I think most artists listening would know it's because we are so hard on ourselves. And so I would never hear the good parts. My mom would tell me over and over and over, listen to good medicine, listen to it. And I wouldn't, because I thought, well, I'm not going to like it. Then I put it on one day. And I struggle with mental health and depression and wanting to be here. That's a part of my concussions, that's a part of my PTSD, that's a part of my intergenerational trauma. And I put it on and I wept because I couldn't believe the album I dreamed of making my entire life, the album where the songs, the music would carry my spirit to the most peaceful place, had been created and I didn't even know it yet. And I have to say, just the people that I got to work with, it was an absolute privilege and honor. And that album really symbolizes why Creator gave me the gift of song, why Creator gave me this voice. It's not just for entertainment, and it's why my songs are not popular. And it's why producers will say you need to really amp up your songwriting ability because it's not interesting enough. But that's not why I do it. Like you said, I really do it for this.
Mm-hmm. Who are some of the people that you work with on that? And are you aware, like, do you know, has it been like used in the community? Have you had any feedback from people? I'm curious if people have been just like engaged with it because it just seems like such a wonderful gift. Just like an
Yeah, I actually haven't heard that it's of feedback in terms of it being used right in palliative care units.
Mhm.
However, a lot of people have been using it for their own meditation and healing.
Oh,
So some
amazing.
people in my community and my own family, when they're struggling with mental health and depression and wanting to be here, they'll put the CD on and they feel like they're being carried and held.
That's incredible. Yeah, because I just hearing the idea and it really speaks to like just the power of art that
Yeah.
it, that maybe it had this one intention, but that it sort of carried over into this other place that has been like a wonderful gift to other people. I wanted to also talk to you. I know that you're an educator and that you work within Indigenous communities, giving workshops and teaching, and also non-Indigenous communities. And yeah, I'm just curious about I'm interested, yeah, in hearing about that and how what maybe some of the differences are in the workshops that you give and sort of the reactions that you get. I know you work with children, and yeah, so just tell me a little bit about how you came into being an educator and why that's important to you.
Yeah, that's a funny story. So you're gonna picture the beautiful spider web again and Dreamcatcher. It started when I was about 19, 20. It's almost 13 years ago. I was working for Native Child and Family Services of Toronto, and I was working with youth. I was a camp counselor, Native youth, and I had walked away from my culture at 17 years old when I went away to college. I didn't think I needed my drum, my bundle, and so I left it with my mom in North Bay. And I was working with the youth, and I didn't know anything was missing from my life, even though I was struggling quite a bit. Um, and I went into my first sweat lodge ceremony, and I just realized I just learned the word yesterday for that in my language, and I don't remember it. I'm trying to reclaim my language right now. It is not an easy journey. So I went into my first sweat lodge, and I didn't tell anybody that, and it was an intense one. So it was funny because they all when I came out and laid on the earth, and I felt born again, because that's what that ceremony is. I felt better than I'd ever felt in so long. And then I told them it was my first one, and they couldn't believe it. They said, "You didn't tell us." But I sang in the lodge, and they had never heard me sing before. And when I came out, one of the elders, one of the grandfathers said, "Who is singing in there?" And I said, "Me." And he said, "Okay, you start teaching drumming next week." And I was scared. I had not taught drumming. I had been raised drumming and singing with my mom, because I'm in a lifetime where my culture is being handed back to me because of my mom, my uncle Glenn. And I started teaching drumming, and I started teaching children, and I never stopped. And didn't matter where I ended up in my career, working for nonprofit organizations and charities who did not respect my basic human rights as a Anishinaabe Kwe. And I just never left. And then I began working for the school board, and I left that to be my own boss. And I want to say this to all Anishinaabe Kwe: become your own boss. Don't let anyone tell you who you are, how to act, how to conduct yourself. You know how to do that best. And when you can get yourself out of an institutionalized system, it is the most empowered position to be in. So now as my own boss, I go into the schools, all the different school boards across southwestern Ontario. And honestly, working with my people, it's where I want to be. It's all I want to do. And I love them. And I've toured Western Canada and had my own people say, "You're not one of us, look at your skin." And then I sing and they're like, "Oh shit, yeah, you know what, you're one of us, because you can't sing like that unless you are." And I've had people who are mixed blood come and tell me they never felt like they had a right to pick up the drum, you know. And little girls, little mixed skin girls, you know, mixed blood girls who want to dance, how dance, and they see me. So it's been amazing. But the thing I've learned now in my 30s, I do not want to be in circle with anyone who doesn't want to be in circle with me. So sometimes in the non-Indigenous community, a school, a teacher thinks, well, this will be good, let's bring someone in, we're going to make drums, we're going to drum, and none of them want me there, and they completely disrespect the culture and everything. And I stand up and I walk out, or I cry and I tell them what they're doing to my spirit. And it's like a big wake up for them to realize it doesn't matter what age you are, you have an effect. And I do say, why am I here with you? I should be with my people. They need me. You don't need me. But you know why I go work with the private schools? Why I go to the Catholic District School Board? Why I continue to work in the non-Indigenous community? Because those people, those children, they are going to find themselves in a position of power one day. And when they find themselves in that position of power, I do not want them to perpetuate cycles of hate and oppression against my people or any people. So that's why I do it. And I probably will never stop.
Yeah, because that sounds like really difficult work, that you would take that on and carry that sort of burden, or to go through that for, but it's still for the benefit of your people, and also greatly to the benefit of the people that are experiencing it. So thank you for doing that. That's amazing. You mentioned briefly, you were speaking about reclaiming your language, that's something that you've been doing lately, and that it's complicated, difficult. Can you just tell me a little bit about that process and what that's been like for you?
Yeah, so I wasn't raised with the language. I was raised with the only words my mom knew, but we had a little paper sort of bound together book of Anishinabemo and Ojibwe words. But she always said "Wewatan," which was hurry up. She taught me Miigwech, and I think she taught me Nokomis maybe. So a little bit here and there. When I was working for the school board as a cultures and traditions instructor, I got to be in the language class with the language teacher and the children. I learned more from those children and those teachers than I learned any other time in my life, because I was right in the room with them, and because they were teaching kids, that's the level I'm at. Not at my 30-year-old something level. I'm at like a 2, 3, 4-year-old level of learning my language. And it was so beautiful. But recently, because I haven't been at this, I left many years ago, I started learning language from Sandra Peltier from Wakamaka. And she's Odawa. So I'm learning it slightly different than Ojibwe, but it's so close. And she's teaching us so much. She's so amazing, to have her language, to share it. And it's through Ignabi that I get to have this experience for free. But I have to say, it's challenging. When I get on there, everything in my head says, don't do it. You might as well give up. You're never going to learn your language fluently. There's feelings of stupidity. There's feelings of shame that I should know my language. There are feelings of absolute anger and frustration because this is a language that was stolen. This is a language that's endangered. This is not like going to learn Italian. This is a language that's been broken through abuse. So as I'm learning it, there's absolutely blood memory, cellular memory. And I'm dedicated to learning, even if it's just one word a week. And I'm having a memory of a ceremony I did, and there was a woman there who had gone to residential school, and she had her language, and she said, didn't matter what they did to her, and they did some bad things, they didn't take her language. And I felt ashamed that I couldn't speak to her in my language. And she hugged me and she said, it's okay, just one word a day. And I haven't learned one word a day, but I'm dedicated to learning as much as I can, because I do plan to create life one day, and I want to be able to pass it on to my children. And I also want to be able to honor my ancestors when I pray. And I want to write music in my language, and I've only written a couple of songs with Anishinaabe, and I needed help, and they're clearly not intricate because I don't know the language well enough. So I want to learn so that I can just start singing and writing my own songs in my language. That's my dream.
It's a beautiful dream. And also it feels like, what a difficult journey, and just like how much it's not your fault, but it's like I see how you could like that desire is clearly so strong in you, and just to feel like that's something you should be able to do, and like why can't you? But I'm sure that you will, But thank you for sharing that. That's really beautiful. Um, and thank you also for speaking about what you can and sharing that with us here today. Um, I have often wondered, because as you're speaking and telling these stories, it's like everything, whether it's your music, your drumming, it's not just like an art, or it's not just a language like it might be for a non-Indigenous person. Like there's clearly so much more, and so much history and so much trauma tied to everything, that I feel like a lot of non-Indigenous people don't really get that. And it's like, for example, with the language, it's like I don't want to, I'm like, can I say miigwech? Or I'm like, I'm like, oh, it might be interesting to learn an Indigenous language. And then I'm like, maybe that is really not my place, because it's not just a language. It's like there's so much more tied to it. And what are your feelings on that in terms of an outsider's like interest in particularly the language? To me is interesting.
So I love when people learn words like miigwech, because it's so respectful to learn to say hello and thank you when you travel anywhere into any community. So that's something I would learn even if it's another Indigenous language like Sego, Tanse, Kwekwe. So it's important, I think, out of respect. But when it comes to, and I've known of a non-Indigenous person who was raised into the community or adopted in at a certain point, and then spoke the language so fluent, and there was a person speaking of this person going, this is a non-Indigenous person, and they know the language better than a lot of Indigenous people. And they had been, again, adopted in. This was not, like, it was a good thing. But when I hear that now, what I realize is it would be easier for you as a non-Indigenous without this blood memory and trauma to learn my language than me. And that's hard. That's hard to accept. I guess I'm not sure how I feel, because there's a part of me that goes, well, I'm mixed, so I don't like excluding anyone, and I've been excluded as a mixed race, Indigenous, queer person. I've been excluded, and we all have. But the other part of me goes, what would be your intention of learning? Like, is it fun? Is it because you've decided you're going to dedicate your life to becoming like the biggest badass ally of the Indigenous nation, and you're going to learn it and then just do everything in your power to teach it or use it in a way that's going to heal? Like, I think it's like, what are your intentions? And if they're to help and to heal, then wonderful. And then I guess you need a blessing from an Indigenous person or community or teacher who would want to teach you that.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, just because it's something I've wondered. I've been reading about it and just like trying to learn some words, and then I'm like, should I be saying these things? Should I be sharing them? So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on that. I was also in you. You're going to be performing in an upcoming performance on July 11th at Women in Song Summer Thunder, and we're so thrilled to have you. We used one of your songs, Warrior, in our promo video, and the first time I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be this. It was just like had such like weight, and you feel something when you hear that. It's like goosebumps, and then seeing it cut with all of these artists from all over the place was really beautiful. So yeah, so we're gonna have you performing outdoors in Guild Park in Scarborough on July 11th with a bunch of other amazing women artists. And also you'll be doing the land acknowledgement. And I wanted to just ask you a little bit about what that means, because I think for people that don't know, um, they might not really get the significance about why we're doing that and what it and why it's important. And so I'm curious from someone who does them sometimes, what it means to you when you're saying it and why it's relevant that we do that.
Yeah, it's incredibly important, and I know once it became basically mandated in institutions like, corporations, organizations, schools, it became emotionless,
Mm-hmm.
cold, detached, and insignificant. It became something that kids tune out of listening to on the announcements. It became the thing that people just know is those 5 or 10 minutes that they can sort of zone out before their meeting starts. When I do a land acknowledgement, I take up space, I take up time, and I do my best to connect to the land myself, but then also emotionally connect everyone else to the land that my ancestors are buried in. So I have a cellular connection to the land because 13 generations, more than 13, but as long as there's at least 13 generations of my people here in this land, I have a cellular connection to it. I think it's important and I choose to do it, and I know a lot of Indigenous people say it's not our job, it's the non-Indigenous people. We know whose land it is, which also isn't true. We don't always know because there's the 60s scoop, and we weren't always raised by a Native parent, and all of the other parts of the history. So we don't always know, but a lot of Indigenous people have told me, they feel it's the non-Indigenous community, the allies' responsibility. So what I've said is anyone who wants to do their own, yes, do it. And I've heard non-Indigenous people do more beautiful land acknowledgements than me, I felt. And they went there. They connected emotionally. You could tell it took a little something. It wasn't just reading words that have no value. Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Wendat, Mississaugians, Mississaugas. You're talking about families. You're talking about real people. You're talking about life givers, life protectors, children. And I usually get people to really think about, like, you drank water today, and you weren't scared that it was going to poison you. And you probably ate food today. Wow, you don't have to go hungry, and your food is good enough to eat. And oh wait, what's that? You're sick, you're not feeling good, and you have access to medicine, and all medicine in any form comes from the earth. You have somewhere you live, even if you don't, you're outside on the street. I've been homeless. I didn't live on the street, but I was homeless. You have everything in your life from this earth. Everything, 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 everything you value. So it makes the most sense that our Mother, the Earth, needs us to take care of her, needs us to honor her. And the thing is, at any event, at any gathering, it would not be happening if it weren't for those nations and those ancestors. That's hard for people to understand because we're so used to going, no, my family has lived on this farm for the last how many centuries? Right. And where did your family come from? And who originally inhabited that land? And why are you so wealthy and privileged now? Right, because you took from. So the land acknowledgement is important, but it's also important that it's done with integrity.
Yeah, and then with intention. So it's been thought about.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. Well, I'm very much looking forward to hearing you speak and, of course, to hearing you play. I wanted to just ask you one more thing is before we go is what does the future hold for you? Like, what are you working on? What are you dreaming about? Where are you headed at this juncture? I want to hear about your projects and yeah, just where you're at right now.
So my future is bright. My future is so bright because I am free from so much trauma and abuse, still healing, but I am free. I'm in a safe place. And that is such a gift. I am madly in love with my partner. We intend to create life one day. I have a lot of healing to do before we can do that, but that's a part of my future. Reclaiming my language and writing songs in my language and an entire album in my language is one of my dreams. But currently I'm actually working on my debut, my band, Red Rhythm and Blues, debut album Alive. My guitarist, Valentina Morelli, she is out west, she's working, we're doing some pre-production stuff, we're talking to some producers, and we might even get to work with Justin from 217 Good Medicine Project, who is just an amazing human being.
Justin Gray?
Yeah.
I've worked with him, he's incredible.
He's absolutely amazing, and so that's something that we're going to record in the fall. Very excited about that. And on my own personal journey, for the first time in 3 years of struggling with multiple concussions, I'm seeing a specialist. So I have faith that I will heal. I have plans to go Pekapikam, a northern community, flying community, an Anishinaabe territory, Ojibwe people, that Jame Esplanade community has invited me to go in October if the grant comes through, if the pandemic allows, so that we can work with those youth, make music, make art, do some healing. I'm also doing a lot of summer circles. So for people who are looking for healing, who are looking for a safe place to drum, to sing, to share, or just receive, please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me at aquamusic.ca. You can email me directly from there. I lead a circle Monday evenings that I run sort of solely, but it's in partnership with Regent Park School of Music. Also Regent Park School of Music, as well as Young Downtown, or Young Dundas Downtown. They have a program, BIA, and they're also going to be providing a hand drum program that I'll be leading. I work with Parkdale Project Reed, who I just shout out to them if they're around, because I absolutely love them. I work with a senior center. I'll be doing a drum circle this afternoon at 3 o'clock. So if you, if you want to join, you can. So I would say, yeah, and then obviously Summer Thunder, Nimkiga is how you say thunder in my language, and I just love the name. So ferocious. So I have some of those performances. I'll be performing downtown tomorrow. Not Canada Day. Not Canada Day. I'll be speaking, singing in my language. Amazing. No, it is not a Canada Day honoring. It is a.
Where is it?
So it is downtown. It's the Esplanade. We're not supposed to promote it. But it's like there's other artists, and it's just sort of a moving type thing. If it rains, which it probably will, it will be Friday. And I have that out on my Facebook, Aqua Nibii Waawaaskone, so you can check that out. But otherwise, you'll always know about things in the community on my Facebook, and you can always email me if you have questions or want to be involved in the Indigenous community, because that is what I love to help facilitate.
Well, everybody reach out to Aqua. Just put the call in. There's definitely enough opportunities. That's amazing. It sounds like you're going to be so busy this summer. And it sounds like you're going to be connecting with a lot of people. So that's wonderful. It sounds like it definitely sounds very bright from what you're sharing. That's wonderful. And I can't wait to meet you in person in about a week and a half at Summer Thunder. That's going to be wonderful. The lineup is beautiful. There's like we keep adding new people all the time. We've got all these wonderful Indigenous people, people from around the world, queer and um, trance and dance and music and drumming and all these different things. So it's going to be like a really wild show. It's going to be really cool. So yeah, and it just honestly, like I'm helping organize it, and it just keeps getting more and more people keep getting added, and we're like, and wanting to be involved, and we're like this and that, and it's going to be such a beautiful mishmash of energy. So thank you so much for being a part of that, and I very much look forward to being there with you. And thank you so much for being with us here today and for sharing, because yeah, it's just clear when you speak that it comes from a really profound, deep place, and it can't always be easy to even speak about it, you know? And so yeah, we don't take that lightly, that you'd be willing to come and just to talk, you know, because there's so many opportunities for artists to perform. But like you said at the beginning, when you were introducing yourself, it's like it's good to know, to hear in someone's own words, like what is behind the art that they're creating. And so I really feel like you really shared that today. So thank you so much. And we'll see you in a week and a half. And for anyone watching who wants to see that performance, do you want to do any? Would you be willing to sing or perform right now? I know tomorrow will kill me if I just I was like, almost forgot, and I would love
No,
even if
that's so
you
fun.
just do like a little excerpt of something, or just
Yeah.
anything that you're comfortable with. No pressure, but yeah, after hearing about what was behind it, yeah, it would be beautiful to hear just a little something.
Okay. I'm gonna sing you a little piece of "Come On Home," the song that
Beautiful.
I've been playing, and
Oh, amazing, amazing.
of the children. This is in honor of my ancestors. This is in honor of anyone who's a trauma survivor. It's what I would want you to know, and it's what I feel the grandmothers, Nukumisak, would want us to know. Come on home, you're not alone. It's not your fault, you didn't know they were wrong all along. So come on home, and it's okay. I will take care of your spirit in such a gentle way. Come on home, you're not alone. It's not your fault, you didn't know they were wrong all along. So come on home, and it's okay. I will love you every single day. We got our aunties and our grannies, and they will teach us about this life. So come on home, you're not alone. It's not your fault, you didn't know they were wrong all along. So come on home, and it's okay. I will listen and believe you in every single way. Come on home, you're not alone. It's not your fault, you didn't know they were wrong all along. So come on home, and it's okay. I will love you every single day.
Wow, so beautiful, so powerful. I have goosebumps. It's incredible. I feel so. I can see why you played that to yourself. Why that would be very comforting. Why
Yeah.
that's good to hear that. Absolutely. Beautiful. I'm so glad I remembered to ask you to sing at the end. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. And so that will be coming out. That will be some work that's still to come, that the public will be able to have. Thank you so much. Yeah, so can you just say that your website one more time for people that want to reach out or take part in one of the drum circles or anything like that?
Yeah, so it's www.aqua, A-Q-U-A, music, M-U-S-I-C, .ca. And I think if you just Google Aqua Music or
Mhm.
even Aqua Nibii Waawaaskone or Red Rhythm and Blues, I'll probably come up.
You'll pop up. Perfect. And if anyone's interested in tuning in, as you all should be by this point, to the Women in Song Summer Thunder next week, that you can find all the information about that at fabcollab.ca, and you can follow us on all of our socials on Instagram, Facebook. It's all the information is there at FabCollab Live. And we can't wait to join you. We can't wait to all be together in person outside. It's going to be amazing. So thank you so much for being with us here today, and we'll see you probably about 10 days live.
Awesome.
And have a wonderful day.
You too.
Migu.
Again, Mama P, I love you. I'll see you.